well into the 2010 decade, on the growing northeast side of Oconomowoc stood a visual reminder of unrealized dreams. By this time, it had overstayed its welcome by about 15 years. And although that sign may have been an unwanted guest on St. Matthew's property, it could have also been seen as a light of what was to come.
Sometimes seeing the sign there, you'd get a little bit impatient. Other times, you would just know that someday something pretty big was going to happen out there.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, St. Matthew's school enrollment was starting to drop, and the aging building was in desperate need of updates.
And everyone's, I think, looking back, doing just an amazing job of making do with the facilities that we have and still being a really good school, having great staff, having parents that are super supportive. But at some point, that's all gonna catch up to you, and the facilities it's gonna be too big of a hill for people to get over. And after a while, we're gonna die a slow death as a school. And the question isn't, do we want a new school? It's, do we want to have a school?
And that was really the impetus of really literally moving forward and getting active once again.
Our new capital campaign, Forward, begins today, and Lord willing, will continue for the next 3 years.
We had a good location, and we did some incredible research to show that the Oconomowoc area is an area where it had significant growth, where we purchased the land, had significant residential expansion, with more planning for residential expansion and a park and other areas.
As is typical of God's plans and His perfect timing, new and bigger opportunities for the Brown Street campus began to unfold now in the 2010s.
Members of our congregation started to ask us, if we've got this property, that we've got space out on Brown Street, how about an early childhood area? How about some daycare?
The initial plans for the Brown Street campus in the 2000s did not include this, not like what was being imagined at this time, to be able to serve babies as young as 6 weeks old. The congregation saw a largely underserved need for this type of early childcare in Oconomowoc.
And I really saw a child center as an opportunity to develop a great way to attract families. And that's what I love about St. Matthew's. I just love seeing more and more families and kids.
And the congregation had just the person to make this childcare center happen. St. Matthew's member Amber Terry had an extensive background in the field, and her husband John had already been serving at St. Matthew's in various ways for many years, such as by teaching Sunday school.
Really just thought I was volunteering. I didn't know what God's plan was. I remember Eric Zeal pulling me to the side as I was dropping off my children one day and just kind of planting it in my ear like, would you be willing to be on our call list?
In fact, St. Matthew's did extend a call to her to be the early childhood director, which she accepted and was able to begin building a new program as a new facility was being built.
The congregation, very wise, and talking with other directors, not all directors have the opportunity that I had to be able to be here from the very beginning. Having that opportunity to be here from the beginning really made my job easier.
After nearly 20 years of planning, praying, and working, St. Matthew's finally dedicated its new school building and First Steps Childcare Center to the glory of God and for the use of His people.
Just the positive momentum around our ministry program, I had never seen anything like it. We had people coming from other congregations just to see the new building, to see the new gymnasium, to see the new library. It was astounding.
And by the grace of God, school enrollment started to boom, and interest in First Steps skyrocketed.
The day we opened the doors, the enrollment was already higher than we anticipated.
We never expected it to be filled as quickly as it filled. That was the biggest shock. We thought we were building for the future.
I'm just stand in awe at how quickly that has grown and how we can't keep up. What a wonderful testament that is to our school and to our church and to our whole being.
Well, you could see that God's more wise than we are. It was a much better time than we did it this time around because we put it was a better plan.
And by the year 2020, 67% of preschool enrollment came through First Steps, which is largely made up of community families who are not yet a part of the church.
We're seeing not only parents interested in having their children baptized, but also parents taking Bible information class. It's just such a blessing to see the Holy Spirit working in so many ways.
And as a result, St. Matthew's welcomed over 170 new members into its family in just a 2-year period. Blessed beyond measure, St. Matthew's quickly realized that God had even bigger plans for their so-called big plans as a new era of St. Matthew's began to move forward. In 2021, the decision was made to unify all of its ministries to a single site by stepping away from a place that this group had come to know and love for nearly a century and build something completely anew. Because in acknowledging that a building is just a building, this group of believers known as St. Matthew's Evangelical Lutheran Church in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, unanimously proclaimed, "Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God."